So, check this out, people. This message is for the single ladies who have children, who have daughters, young daughters, and who want to get into the dating scene, or who are simply looking for a mate, or who have a boyfriend, a stepfather to their children, a stepfather to their daughters. One thing that you women have to understand, that a lot of women who have husbands or boyfriends and who are co-parenting, who have children together, when you bring a man into your home who isn't your son's or daughter's father, you have to watch your children. It is not the job of a stranger to watch your children, especially if you have daughters. It doesn't matter if your daughter is 5 years old or 15 years old. If you bring a man to your house, a strange man, and he becomes part of your family, when you leave the house, he needs to leave with you. If you have a 15-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, any type of children who are not his children, a woman should not leave her young teenage daughter, her young daughter, with some guy she just met yesterday. It doesn't matter if he pays the bills. It doesn't matter if you love him. Love doesn't change people. Love doesn't affect people the way you think it does, ladies. Just because you love a man doesn't mean he's going to radiate that same type of love towards you and your children. And so if you have a boyfriend and you have daughters, my advice to you ladies, do not leave your teenage daughters alone with your boyfriend. He's not her father. And if he's not her father, there's no reason for him to be alone in the house with your 15, 13, 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 9-year-old, 5-year-old daughter. It doesn't matter what the age is. If he's not her father, he shouldn't be left alone with her. It's that simple. There's no excuse for it. The majority of children who are abused by close relatives, especially stepdads. And most of the time, the daughter won't say anything because she's afraid that if she says anything to the mother, she is going to blame her. She's going to blame her daughter. So her daughter has to live with this for the rest of her life if she is being abused by her stepfather, your boyfriend, who you brought home without considering the fact that you don't know this guy from a can of paint. And just because you've known him for 2 or 3 years and he seems like a nice guy, it doesn't mean anything. There are nice guys who go to work every day. There are nice guys who go to church every day. And then you turn on the news one day and you hear that this nice guy is a serial rapist. He's not your buddy. He's not your daughter's buddy. He's someone that just got to your house yesterday and you need to treat him as such. I am a man, and if I date a woman who has children, daughters especially, there is no reason for her to leave her daughter in the house alone with me. I will tell her, take your daughter with you. Do not leave your daughter here with me because I am a man and there's no reason for you to trust any man alone with your daughter. I live what I teach and what I preach. When my daughters were young, from the time they could understand, they were not allowed to sit on any man's lap. Not their uncle's lap, not their grandfather's lap. And if they sat on my lap, I taught them how to sit. I taught them how to sit because they are ladies. And there's no reason for my daughters to be sitting on any man's lap. There is no reason for why your daughter is sitting on a man's lap that isn't her father's. And this is the cause why many children are molested, abused. It's usually by their stepfather, their mother's boyfriend who comes into the family. He's a nobody to these children. He could care less. A real man knows better. A real man knows that if his girlfriend is going to leave his daughters alone with him, he will get up and he will leave until his girlfriend returns, until she comes home. I don't allow my girlfriend to leave her daughters alone with me. There's no reason for her to do that. No reason. And so if you are a woman and you are single and you have children, especially girls, my advice to you ladies is never leave your daughters alone with your boyfriend. He's not their father. And if he's not their father, they shouldn't even be sitting on his lap. He shouldn't even be changing their diaper. He shouldn't be changing their diaper. He's not their father. One day I came home from work, and the only person that I allowed to watch my daughters was their grandmother, my wife's at the time, her mother, who was the only person I trusted with my daughters. And my wife hated it because she needed to do things while I was at work. She had to take care of certain things, but she knew my rule. No one watches my daughters but her. She's the mother, she watches them. And if her mother, my daughter's grandmother, could not watch my daughters, then nobody would. And things won't get done because number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are my daughters. They come first. And so one day I came home from work, and at the time my daughter must have been about 2 years old, and family and friends were over. My father-in-law, my daughter's grandfather, was in the living room. A friend of his was in the living room. And other friends and family were in the living room when I got home from work. And when I walked through the door, my father-in-law, his friend, was over, and he was holding my daughter. And he had my daughter on his lap. Now, my wife at the time knows that I'm not going to fly with that. It's not going to happen, not with me. The first thing I did was I walked over to him, I took my daughter, and I said to him, no offense to you, but I am trying to teach my daughter what is right and what is wrong. And what is right is that she doesn't sit on anybody's lap. She doesn't sit on a man's lap. That's not going to happen. The only lap she sits on is mine. And when she does, I teach her how to sit like a lady. And so I explained to him that I'm trying to teach my daughter right from wrong. I'm trying to teach my daughter what to be aware of when a man that isn't her father holds her, touches her, and she needs to know the difference between a kind touch and a disrespectful touch. And so I do not allow my daughter to sit on any man's lap. Now, there were other people there. I didn't care then, and I don't care now how he felt or what he felt. Whether or not he was embarrassed, whether or not he understood my point. but I'm sure he understood my point. Because a real man understands what another real man, has to say. And he got the point. My daughter doesn't sit on any man's lap. The only lap she sits on is her father's. And when she does, she has to sit correctly. That's what I taught my daughters. And my daughters are older now. My job was to protect my daughters so that if me and her mother didn't work out and she brought a man to the house, my daughters would know what to expect or what they should expect. And the first thing that they understood is that there's no reason for them to get close to a man that isn't their father. There's no reason for a man who isn't their father to change their diaper, to put them on their lap, or to touch them in any way. If they want to kiss them hello and kiss them goodbye, a peck on the cheek, that's a Puerto Rican thing. That's part of our culture. Much respect. I appreciate you loving and respecting my daughters. That's as far as it goes. Say hello, say goodbye, and keep it moving. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't consider their daughters when they bring a man home. They are just considering their feelings, their needs, what they want. And they don't think about their daughters. They don't think about this man that they just brought home, who he is and what he's capable of. And so, ladies, you have to respect your daughters. You have to teach your daughters so that when you're not around, you know that they know the difference between love, when a man is truly respecting them because he cares for them, and the difference between when a man who claims to love them touches them in a way that is not appropriate. They have to know the difference. And it's your job to teach them that, ladies. It's no one else's job. And if anything happens to your daughters, your children, they get molested or abused by your boyfriend, it is your fault. 100% your fault for bringing in a bum that you knew nothing about into your home and allowing your daughters to spend time with him, more time than you do because you're at work all day. He's playing videos all day in your house with your 15-year-old daughter. But you're not woman enough to respect your daughter. And this is why many of our children, our daughters, who grow up depressed, and we know not why they're depressed. We can't understand why they're rebellion, why they're behaving the way they do, and they never tell us. Your daughter isn't going to tell you that your boyfriend is abusing her. Your daughter isn't going to tell you that your boyfriend is molesting her. She's not going to say anything because she knows you're going to blame her. You're going to blame her. And most of the time, women who find this out side with the man. They side with their boyfriend and they don't believe the daughter. They don't believe her. Oh, it's just you. Oh, he's just like that. He doesn't mean anything by the way he kisses you on the neck. Oh, he doesn't mean anything by that when he asks you to sit next to him at night while we're watching TV. Oh, he doesn't mean anything by that when he holds your hand while you're watching TV. She's 15 years old, bro. There's no reason for a man who isn't a father to be caressing your daughter while you're watching TV. He's grooming her. He's priming her. That's what men do. And it's your job, ladies, to protect your daughters. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be having children, let alone daughters.